Hebrew? Oh, Hebrew.
What happened, mate? What's going on?
I'm just waiting for a mate.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
With my scooter outside the dairy, next minute.
Flamin' mongrel, flamin' drug dealer, flamin' menace, flamin' bargain.
The Antipodean
Poddy.
Hello, our Antipodean friends. Jimmy, Jed, Barry here, back with another hour of Antipodean Insights. We've managed to rope in another legitimate New Zealander, sorry Buzz, to speak with us this week. Kiwi stand-up comic Dan Boerman. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, bro. Thank you for pronouncing my surname right. No one ever pronounces it right.
Well, I mean, at first glance, I did think it was Boerman, but
Yeah.
I did a little bit of, I diored and realised it was Boerman, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I touch on this as well? Because you've said diode twice now in two different episodes.
Yeah, I was
Googled
the same.
definition, I couldn't even find the word. So
D-Y-O-R, do your own research, mate.
my God.
Which is brilliant because he did his own research.
Exactly. Yeah, I still came up with
Still didn't get anywhere.
So, obviously we usually do a bit of a round table, a bit of a catch-up. Boys, got any stories for us? What's been happening?
You start, Baz.
Not really. I think tonight we're missing the 660 concert, which is always really popular in London. I think I've seen them 4 times now in London.
Yeah, they're always over.
Yeah, I've seen them. Oh, it was in Brixton, the sort of the venue that goes sort of down. Is it the Brixton Electric or? I can't remember.
No, Brixton Electric's quite flat, but it's a good venue.
Yeah, and there must have been I don't know heaps.
I like how you're describing venues as being down or flat. Like that. It doesn't give us a lot of time.
I mean,
The people might think we're talking about the personality of the venue itself, but
and then I saw them in another venue, and there was only 200 people there. So
can I ask? Are they like if 660 plays at a festival in New Zealand, will it sell out?
they've got the biggest. I think the biggest attendance. They did a show at Eden Park.
Well, I was actually asking the New
sorry.
Zealander in the group. Sorry about that.
And that's why I answered it.
I was going to say, if 660's playing in London, who's playing the music when the flight lands? It's just going to be a real quiet Air New Zealand touching down in Wellington.
Like
and everyone's going to be nervous.
Yeah.
Their music exists to calm the whites on Air New Zealand flights. That's why they exist. It's like you get the cookie time, you get the 660, and it's like welcome home.
Yeah.
Well, when I flew into Samoa, and I just didn't even think it was really a thing. Like
Weird flex, but carry on.
I flew
2 minutes in, he's like, what can I chat about this?
I'm name dropping countries all of a sudden.
All good. Thank you, grab a seat.
And I was like, I flew in. Obviously, I'm probably the smallest quartile there, but there was this massive Polynesian band, probably strumming the instruments. I was like, I didn't think this would actually be a thing in Polynesian countries, but beautiful music when you arrived at that airport. It was actually
Man.
quality.
They need to do that. What would they do in New Zealand? Just have Lord singing when you arrive. Just her singing Royals. Yes, that'd be the one. Maybe
Tennis
Dave
court or
Bowen.
something.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
You
perfect.
need to do that. That's actually a good idea, right? When you arrive in New Zealand, some Kiwi music playing.
That'd
I
be-
mean, what would Australia do? You know that
Paul Kelly.
1-4 band. Have you seen that? The new what's it called? Oh, the new rappers are like gangster rappers from Western Sydney. Have you seen that?
No, I got no.
Drill rap. Yeah,
Yeah, the world needs more of that.
yeah.
Isn't the drill drill started in the UK, no?
Yeah, but it's got big in Australia now.
Is it? Along with the Adidas tracksuits. and
Yes,
all,
very much so.
around. Well, we'll come back to New Zealand. Whereabouts are you from in New Zealand, Dan?
Do you know Martinborough? Do you know? It's like an hour east of Wellington.
Okay, well, I know Wellington. So.
Yeah, it's only the first line in my bio online, bro. That's cool, man. I think even AI, even ChatGPT could tell you that, but that's fine, bro. Yeah,
so
I think we know that his research isn't very good.
He's still writing notes for people. Man. Yeah, he's just Googling what comedy is.
Well, my mum didn't know what it was. So.
He's having a Dior on Google. A Dior. Yeah, from Martinborough, bro. It's like an hour east of Wellington, so it's just like a small wine village. Not to be confused with Marlborough, which is also a small wine village in New Zealand, maybe bigger. But yeah, just grew up in a rural town, moved to the capital city about 10 years back. Yep. And then moved over here to the UK about a year ago.
Nice. And you did move to, because I have done my research.
Yeah, nice. No, I believe
But you moved to Edinburgh first before moving to London.
Yeah, man.
Now, obviously, most people like that we move to London first, probably because
Yeah.
they live in London. But why was it Edinburgh was your first choice?
So, like, I moved to Edinburgh because I did the Fringe last year. I was like, oh, this is mad busy. This is where everyone is. This is comedy. Hell yeah. Cool. And then I moved there and the Fringe wasn't on anymore, so it was obviously quiet. Like, the comparison I make is in Martinborough, there's like an annual fair, just like a big fair that happens, and there's like loads of like soap stalls and bath bombs and stuff. So, like, if you were like a bath bomb fan and you're like, I'm going to move to Martinborough because I went to the fair and there were so many bath bombs, and you move there and you're like, where's all the soap? Where's all the lavender diffusers? So it was kind of like that. Like, there's comedy, but it's per capita probably the same as Wellington, right? And Edinburgh. So I moved there, and then a few months later I went back to New Zealand, Australia, did like a mini tour, and then I went back, and there was only, by that point, by like April, a few months till the Fringe. So I was like, well, I'll do another Fringe and then I'll move down to London, because I'd been coming down to London every few months for gigs, and I just slowly warmed up to it. I think the thing for me, bro, is when I first came over here, Edinburgh was like a stepping stone for London, because London's massive, right?
Yeah.
It's like double the population of New Zealand, so it was like Edinburgh was like dipping my toe into the UK before fully committing to London, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think London was expensive and intense initially,
Yeah.
and it still is. But initially I was like, oh, there's a lot of people, it's going to cost a lot of money, and then a few months in I was like, oh, I'm just going to have to maybe commit to it. But there's a reason that people move here, you know.
Yeah, of course. Okay, and then like because obviously with the comedy career and everything.
Yeah.
Now, because you did make that base in Edinburgh, and there's obviously the Edinburgh Fringe, which we'll touch on later.
Yeah.
Do you can easily go back to Edinburgh and you've got the contacts, so you've got a bit of a base there as well, or not really?
Kind of. So it's familiar in that I know comedians there and I have pals and stuff there. But in terms of like the Edinburgh Fringe is weird, bro, because I did a double run, so I did 2 shows there a day, so I did like 45 shows during the Fringe. And I had a lot of people through. I had nearly 2,000 people across the month. But when you're like, who here's from Edinburgh? No one. They're from America, they're from Australia, they're from everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw more Kiwis and Aussies at Edinburgh Fringe than I did Scots, right? It's just an international festival.
Course, yeah.
So people next year, if they come to my show, they may have seen me this year. But if I went up today, I probably won't bump into anyone who saw me at the Fringe, because they're all international.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, I did 2 shows back in Edinburgh a few weeks back. It was my first time there since the Fringe, and each show that I had, I was just on a lineup, and you had maybe 2 or 3 people in each crowd that had seen online that I was there, so they'd come to see the show. But that's the kind of numbers. It's not like I'm going to pack out rooms up there. Most of the people have gone home.
Okay, and then in terms of like, have you ever had the circumstance where you've been in London performing and you've had someone go, oh, I saw you at Fringe and stuff like that?
That hasn't happened yet, eh? I think, like, with the exception of like people I know personally, or like Kiwis, or people who I maybe used to work with or whatever, who happen to be in the city or whatever, that kind of, not at that reach at this stage. It does happen, like in New Zealand. You might be in Auckland doing a show and someone who saw you in Wellington's now in Auckland. But yeah, just the ratio of people in the UK to how many people know about me over here. The disparity means that it hasn't quite happened yet.
Okay.
So I guess we've kind of established that you're in the UK because of the Fringe Festival, and
that was the main one.
Yeah, trying to I guess, launch your international career, so to say.
Yeah.
How long have you been in comedy, and what got you into it in the first place?
Yeah, so first time I went to do a gig was in 2012, nearly 14 years ago. Just in case we're not familiar with 2012, don't know why. 2012 deniers in the room. When I was 18, put my name down to do a gig, and then only got the courage to do it like 10 years later. So, I mean, with the exception of doing a few mics when I first started, I've been doing it, quote unquote, properly, having a go at it for like 3 or 4 years now.
Right.
And yeah, the UK, just the scale of opportunity over here.
And I guess what was the, obviously, you got to be a brave man or woman to kind of be a stand-up comic. What was that thing that I guess scared you off it when you were 18, and what I guess helped you overcome it 10 years later?
How do I say this for a PG audience? Basically, when I signed up to that first gig, the circumstances of what me and the flatmates were doing in the flat in Masterton meant that I forgot that I'd booked a gig. So I was sitting there on the couch, eyes glazed.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Playing Crash Bandicoot.
Great game.
That is a great game.
With my eye drops for whatever reason. So yeah, didn't do comedy that night. So I just forgot. It was a confidence thing. I hadn't really written any jokes. I like knew that I wanted to do it, but I just hadn't really had the courage. And then like the first gig I did about 4 years back in Wellington, told my first joke, and it didn't just die, but people didn't realise the joke was finished. It was like that bad. So I said it, and I was like, And it was just like silence, dead silence. It was during the comedy fest, so there's 100 people there.
Yeah.
100 of 100 people, complete silence. And I freaked out real hard, and I pulled the middle finger up at them, and I went to like walk off the stage, and then at that stage it was only like 9 seconds in. So like 9 seconds into my first ever routine, told a joke, no one laughed, pulled the fingers.
Wow.
And then I was like, I have to be up here for another. That was the scariest thing.
Do you think that happens to a lot of kind of stand-ups, like that kind of, I guess that, you know, I don't know, that stage, is it stage fright? Like what do you think it is?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's the only time it's really happened to me where I had that kind of like sink or swim feeling of like, the thing that freaked me out was I was like, I have to be up here for another 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, 6 minutes of silence, I can't deal with that, right? But I've seen it happen before. I've seen people like freak out, but normally they get some sympathy laughs. I think the advice I got after that first show, it's like an Irish comic was telling me, he's like, people can love you, they can hate you, they can want to be in bed with you, it doesn't matter. He's like, they cannot feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
minute a crowd feels sorry for you, you've lost them and it's
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
And that's the main thing. I mean, if all of you would have seen something before where you like worked cringing awful and you're like, I can't, like cringe and laughter are like completely different opposite emotions.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable, if you're tense and nervous, you can't, you're not free.
I mean, I've been to plenty of weddings with best man speeches where I'm literally trying to hide in my wife's hair because it's that
100%.
cringe. Yeah.
I've heard there's some shocking Kiwi MCs as well at weddings. Yeah. A little callback to a chap.
I mean, I love the attention.
Like I'm from Lismore.
Love the attention to detail.
Yeah.
I thought it was Danny Bird.
That's quality.
I mean, talk about a man that's done his research.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Well, apparently he did more research than us.
God, this will be his podcast.
No, he's exactly right. He might just put the same merch. I'll actually pay you. Yeah, easy. Oh, okay, well, that's really like, because I've talked to my mum about it and stuff, and talked to her things about, you know, the Fringe Festival. But like with these, when you're curating sort of these acts and these jokes, and obviously that was obviously in its infancy with that circumstance. How many times do you go and like test it out, or do you test it out to a certain crowd, or what's the process there?
It feels kind of non-linear, right? Because there's things that I've been trying to work out. Like my work in progress at the Fringe, there's jokes that I've tried 50 times, and I've made peace with the fact that it's just not a funny joke. It's not going to land. I keep doing it again and refining it. I'm like, the premise might just not be funny.
Yeah, of course.
Like I have a bit about how like, I'm not going to do it because it's not a funny bit, but it's about how like
That was actually the bit.
Like it was about how apartments have fire blankets instead of fire extinguishers, and like how your line of defense in a house fire is like a piece of cloth. And like, see, it's not that funny. It's interesting, but it's not necessarily funny. And no matter how much I tease that out, it's not really that funny.
Well, is there some kind of fascination with fire safety? Because you were mentioning that you were doing a bit of fire safety analysis at Mooch's Big Belly Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Did you try the joke?
No, I didn't. No, I'd already done it 50 times. I thought, right, I'm going to try one more time. I've got a podcast booked in a few weeks, and if those boys don't laugh. No, I used to work in facilities. Sorry, I used to work in facilities back in New Zealand.
Right.
So maybe that's where my head is. Yeah. And also just a fan of not being on fire, you know, like as far as the evenings go, like if I had to pick, I don't know.
Just to go back to the other joke, the one that you said kind of bombed. Was that a funny joke? Like, or do you think it generally wasn't funny?
It wasn't even a joke. That was the problem. It was like I work in town as an office manager. Office refers to the fact that I work in an office. Manager, well, they just call me that to make me feel important. And it was just, and that's all it was.
Right.
And people are like waiting for the punchline.
Okay,
There's no punchline. But to your question, like, some stuff you'll refine 50 times, it won't land. Sometimes you just go up, like when I was at Big Belly a few weeks back, I did a gag that I wrote on the way there about like the Tommy Robertson protest, and it popped off real hard, and I won the Gong Show that Saturday, and it like went real well, and that was like written an hour prior. But some stuff you've done 50 times. So I don't know. I think having a strong premise, I'm learning, is a good start point, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fire safety.
But I think also if it's topical and that's happened just now, then it's going to be at the forefront of people's minds.
Definitely, and that's why crowd work clips pop off, because people are like, oh, this is fresh. This is
relevant,
like a bit of a one-off, relevant kind of thing.
Yeah.
A question for you. Look, one of my side hobbies is, as much of a red flag as it is DJing, or like a glorified press of play, really.
Wasn't like a family event your first DJ gig? Was like for your bro?
You really have done your research. Hey, the hell, man.
Have you ever seen the clips where like the dude is interviewing rappers and he knows?
Oh, Nardwar. Yeah.
It's my job to.
Oh, yeah. Antipodean Poddy.
That's incredible.
I'm too nervous to say anything.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely done his research.
I live in your walls.
He's phoned up all of your mates.
Sorry, that would have been so loud on the mic just then, bro. Yeah, sorry.
But
But
like
the
with
DJ, so they warned me. That's
yeah. But like with that, so if I'm playing to the crowd and stuff, and then I play a song, or I notice, like, if let's say I'm doing a wedding, and there's so many things that happen throughout the wedding, and the crowd fluctuates and stuff. But let's say the crowd might be dying. I'll have a song that I'm like, right, this is gonna trucking go well, right? Such as grease.
press the button that's
Grease.
buttered.
I'm sitting there just going grease making.
Yeah. No, it's always unwritten by Natalie. I forget her last name. But if you're playing it, will you have sort of certain jokes that you'll be like, okay, I need to bring this in now to bring it back?
That's a good question, and it's also the litmus test for whether or not the gig's going to go well.
Oh, as a science teacher, the fact you said litmus test has turned me on.
The two words I remembered from science was litmus and meniscus.
Oh,
I was on a date the other night saying to this woman, I was like, you see how the water curls up on the glass like that? That's called meniscus. And I don't know why, bro, but I haven't heard back from her.
And he's also pointing out all the fire.
Yeah, I was just like counting my steps to the exit, and so was she. Dude. Yeah, there'll be gags that I'm like, okay, well this can turn it around, and probably for a PG audience, I can't say what it is, but just like there's a couple of gags there that I'm like, this will win the crowd over, and then if it doesn't, I'm just kind of like, well, this was your chance, folks.
This is a you problem at this point.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like, you don't know. As I'm learning, it's like no crowd wants to be told that they're the problem, right? Because if you're in a comedy gig, even if they are, they don't want to hear that. It's like, I don't want to know if my mum's favourite kid isn't me. It's like that's allowed to be the case, but I shouldn't know about that.
Yeah. That's a great analogy, actually.
I was thinking, like, obviously there's so many opportunities in London. We've spoken a heap about that on the podcast, and I imagine in comedy there's heaps of opportunities, but there'd be a heap of difficulties as well. Coming with opportunities is difficulties, and that may be there's lots of comedians out there. So how do you go about, I'm more interested, like, how do you go about getting on shows? Do you have to go to the venues and sort of, obviously you're walking with a CV like a normal person when they go for a job. How does it come about in comedy? Do they approach you? Do you approach them through friends, agents?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? Because, like, London, there's a lot of people trying to make it. That's intimidating. And this applies to anything as kind of like generic advice. It's like there's a lot of people maybe moving over here trying to crack it as, like, a lawyer to work with. Okay, that's intimidating. But consider there's so many law firms here. It's like there's so many comics trying to make it, but there's also so many gigs. And there's so many promoters and there's so many agents. So I feel like it's all kind of relative. So for me, like, there's... In terms of finding the gigs, I think it's a combination of... I think the main one for anything that I've done ever has been, like, if people think that you're decent, then they'll help you out. So, like, I can go on Facebook forums and try and find the gigs, and I can DM people when they put up on their story that they've performed somewhere. But if I just, like, hang out at a club and someone takes you under their wing and they're like, oh, yeah, these are the 4 people you want to chat to. You know what I mean? So I just think, like... For me, it's been just like showing up at clubs, making an effort, and being genuinely interested, not like hanging out in a green room being a pest, like, I want to be famous, help me, but just like watching the gig, hanging out, getting to know people's deal, and then they're like, like, this is who you want to chat to. So I think, like the networking buzz, the people-to-people stuff always seems to trump above any form of spreadsheet.
I think that's what your mum said as well about being up in Edinburgh at the Fringe. Like, networking is super important.
Yeah, she said she was doing like 12-hour days and going out, handing flyers out and stuff like that. And she doesn't have, nearly the presence, or hasn't been doing it for, I don't think she's been doing it for as long as you. But, she said she was just grafting and grinding just to and that's the thing, like, once you know the promoters and stuff, same thing as DJing, I guess. Once you know the promoters and everything, then it becomes, I guess, a bit more like clockwork through there.
I think there's a balance to strike as well between, like, there's a thing as being too intense with networking, right? Like, if you've ever been to an event and you can see that someone is just eyes glazed over, they're just out to, like, get somewhere and step over people and just get to a certain place. You know, like I've been at events with like, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a comedian. They're like, oh yeah, good on you, mate. Well, see you later. And then they just go on to someone else, you know, which maybe is the nature of those events. But like, I don't know. Sometimes you can be a bit too hard out with it and shoot yourself in the foot in the process.
There's people who are just evidently transparently trying to climb the ladder, the economic ladder, one might say, but. Yeah, I mean, you see that sort of, I guess, everywhere. Like, even, you know, you'd probably have it with certain people in your role trying to...
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah. People trying to elevate themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it happens in any industry or any walk of life. So, I mean, when we knew we were going to get you on the show, I diored and...
God. This isn't becoming a thing, man.
Some big word in his repertoire.
It's funny.
It's tearing the arse out of it.
It takes the same amount of time to say research.
Yeah.
Abbreviating something, it takes as long. Google.
It was my research.
It is a bit of an internet joke, but I'm just surprised you didn't have your ear to the ground, you didn't know about it. But anyway,
you're like a 38, 39-year-old man.
41.
What's going on?
You know he's using Bing as well. You know that
during the week, Mooch, he sent me some files and they weren't working on my phone.
Oh, this is
great,
actually.
He had the audacity to call me a boomer. And he's older than me. Right? But when I Googled were YouTube videos of you trying to fold a fitted sheet.
Oh, that's pretty cringe.
Part of a performance, I guess it's performance art. How did that idea come about, and why do people like it?
I've got a fitted sheet in my bag if you want to go down that rabbit hole, if you want to learn how to fold one if we have time. Yeah.
So, you never know when.
Yeah. So the fitted sheet, last year in New Zealand, I wanted to get involved with a comedy award called the Billy T. So it's like the national New Zealand, Billy T, the comedian, some of you may know. From yesteryear, he used to carry around a yellow towel, Mouldy Boy, and they have an award named after him that started in the late 90s, and that's like a prestigious big award. You do a show in the Comedy Fest, you can go for that award. And rather than just apply for it, the Comedy Fest in New Zealand will be like, right, as part of your pitch, what's going to be your show next year? And this happens like 10 months before the award. So late last year, I was like, I have to come up with a show title. And I was like, Dan Boerman, I'm trying to come up with all these things based around being single for the first time in a decade. That was kind of the through line. I was like, Dan Boerman lives on his own. Dan Boerman learns to parallel park, all these different bits and pieces. Right. I was like, Dan Boerman folds a fitted sheet on his own. That'll be the name of the show.
Okay.
And I did all the photos and promo for it a year ago. And then, of course, this year for the Comedy Fest and so forth, I had to just commit to that as the show title.
Yeah.
So all the marketing, all the promo around it existed, and it was its own beast. The actual show was written and completed midway through the New Zealand tour. So I was so hyper-focused on the marketing, I was like, I probably need to fold a sheet during the show. Because the show, and for the first few shows, if the crowd was dumb, I wouldn't even fold the sheet. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm just going to tell some jokes, and that's all you're getting. But the show was called that Dan Boerman Folds a Fitted Sheet on His Own. And so to promote it when I went back to New Zealand, I was like, I've just moved over to the UK. I've had some traction in New Zealand from socials and stuff. I don't want people to forget about me.
Yeah.
How can I promote my show back home for no money, and how can I do it remotely?
Right.
So I paid a fella in Wellington to put up a bunch of stickers in Wellington for me that said, come watch me fold a fitted sheet with a QR code. And he plastered them around Wellington, the capital city, for about a month. And it went mega viral before I even had gone back home. Yeah. So I get back to New Zealand. There's an Instagram fan page with 1,500 followers. There's this ambiguous sticker. The reels have 100,000 plays each, and no one knows what this thing is. Yeah. Monday, 1 p.m, lunchtime. The day after I landed back as well. So jet lag, delirious. And 700 people showed up to watch me fold a sheet. One News was there. I got on BuzzFeed. It got on loads of stuff. And so I folded a sheet, which was good because I said I would. And then ended up exit flyering the crowd, where you hand out the flyers after everyone's left, to promote my Comedy Fest show. And when I came back to Edinburgh for the same show for Edinburgh Fringe, a pal was like, bro, you should do it here in Edinburgh. I was like, lightning twice, there's no way. He's like, no, do it. And then I was like, okay, put up the stickers around Edinburgh, posted it to Reddit anonymously. I haven't said this before, it was me that put it on Reddit. Any online hype was just me with a burner account. Yeah. I was like, look at these. Instagram gets thousands of followers, 60,000 plays on it. Really, there's all this online hype. I'm like, this is going to be a big thing again. And I was doing a solo show here in London on the Friday, and then I had to be in Edinburgh on the Saturday to fold the sheet up a hill because I said I would. Yeah. And my train back from London to Edinburgh kept getting delayed. And I'm like, there's an event that I'm doing. There's no MC, there's no organizer. It's just me. It's just Dan up a hill.
Yeah.
It looks like there's going to be 1,000 people up that hill. And I'm being delayed on the LNER, another acronym for you. And you can DYOR what LNER stands for. And I head up to Edinburgh.
LOL over here in a second.
Nah, bro, that was more of an LMAO. I get up to Edinburgh with like half an hour to spare, grab a fitted sheet, go up Colton Hill. There's 1,000 people there. There's like it was like a Fred again gig. It was bananas, right? And I said that in front of the DJ. He probably wasn't keen on that. 1,000 people there, pulled the sheet, and then that got on that was on like Dubai radio. It was like on national radio in Canada. It got on. It just the reach of that was bananas, and ended up just packing out the Fringe Festival. So it was all promo for a show.
Yeah. And
that the promo around the show became bigger than the show itself. No one even cared about the show or what it was about or relationships or Dan's feelings. It was like,
I mean, like when I saw the first video, it was the Wellington one, and I'm like, must be a Kiwi thing. Like, well, no, like the crowd, they find this entertaining. But then you've taken it to Edinburgh, and the crowd was equally as big, or if not bigger. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was two things off the back of that. The first, and I don't understand this yet. I don't have the nous to understand why. Both events was the same crowd, and it was like 16 to 21-year-old non-binary Gen Z. It was like exclusively, for some reason, that part of society, the chronically online, were like, we're here for this.
Yeah, okay.
And so you had loads of like they, thems and blue hair and stuff, and they were mad for it.
I guess if you're kind of marketing it through Reddit and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like, and it does go viral. I mean, it's one of those things like, that, you can have a lot of noise online and stuff, but like, it's only a small part of society that actually, is using, X. Like, I use it for my news, but I don't tweet or anything on there. Like, and the same with Reddit. I'll have a read, but I don't post on there type thing. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Who knew the younger generation had an affinity for origami?
I think, dude, there's like people are like yearning for in-person stuff. It was the combination of FOMO, that generation not wanting to miss out on a thing, because there's so much of that. It wasn't just the hype of doing the event, it was that people would film it after. Those TikToks would get 1 million plays each, so it promoted itself, right? And people driven from Glasgow to see it. People driven an hour to watch me fold a sheet, and people were mad for it. And then afterwards, I was like, I'd invite people up, you come and have a go sort of thing, and people would fold the sheet and all that. And the beauty of it was they were trying to regrow the grass up the top of Colton Hill in Edinburgh, which meant it was all fenced off. And all the videos, it looks like crowd control barriers. So it looks like it was such this hype official event that there was like people standing at in a mosh pit for me doing laundry.
Did you practice?
The night before. I practiced in Wellington, so I landed in Wellington on Friday, surprised mum in disguise. I went into her work because she didn't know I was in New Zealand. I was just like, what's up, mum? That's a story for another time. And I practiced the night before, and I couldn't get the hang of it. And I just nailed a couple of espressos, and I was in her living room like freaking out, trying to learn how, and I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, if anyone needs to know how to do this, it's me.
It's you.
Right? I'm the one guy in Wellington who has to know how to do this. But I got the hang of it, practiced it in the morning and stuff. And
I did think like if you were folding it and then you create like an uneven fold, so it's not precision.
Yeah.
There'd be someone in the crowd going, oh. They're going, oh.
100%, yeah, but it's kind of like they're probably not there because they don't need to know how to learn. People in the crowd, that audience is non-believers.
So you think it was an educational piece rather than an entertainment one? Like people were there.
This is your TED Talk of this.
I think so, yeah. People were, it could have been anything. People were just happy to have, because remember flash mobs and stuff used to be big.
Yeah.
And thank God they died a painful death, but that stuff doesn't happen anymore. People just doing random wacky in-person stuff, and people to just put their phones down and have I don't want to get too deep on it, but as like a sociology thing, it was bananas to watch how keen and excited people were to just get together and be excited about a common goal.
Flash folding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take some tips. I definitely do not know how to get
fold. I'm so sick of folding sheets. No, I got but I picked up a sponsorship from an Aussie company, Sheet Society in Australia. I got rent paid for X amount of however long, undisclosed period of time, to do some content for them.
Right.
Sheet Society, brand deal, in Australia, and they're like, now I'm the fitted sheet guy for Sheet Society, and it's like, I wanted to move here and do stand-up, but I guess I'm the sheet guy.
When that email came through, was the part of you going, this can't be real? Like, this is...
No, I was like, this checks out with the chaos I invite into my life. I see emails like that sometimes, and I'm like, this isn't why my mum and dad had a kid. Like, this isn't why my parents had a child, so that it could grow up, move to London, and fold sheets.
Well, that's why you got into comedy, though.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's just non-linear. So I don't know. Yeah, there are those. Some nights I do, when I'm falling asleep, I do have that pinch me moment about 1,000 people coming to see me do a thing. Because that is a, even though it wasn't for stand-up, it was still kind of for me, even though no one knew it was me. Yeah. That is a bananas rock star feeling to run out and there's 1,000 people. And it's Colton Hill, so there's like Roman architecture and stuff.
Yeah. Stunning. Yeah.
And you just like put your arms up, and there's like a 1 second delay in people cheering because they're so far away.
Yeah.
And everyone's
that adrenaline.
Cool. 100%, bro. Yeah. It is the most nervous I've been for anything in my life.
Have you? I'm assuming it was A4. Have you worked your way up to like an
A4? Do you have a bed?
Like a bed sheet, mate.
That's what A4 piece of paper.
What?
What are you talking about? It's a fitted bed sheet, not a sheet of paper.
Oh my God! Sorry.
Wow.
No. I'm going to jump in here and help him out.
How do you have a fitted piece of A4 paper?
No, sorry.
Oh my God.
I spent my whole day printing today, so it's just stuck in my brain.
No, I'm just going to jump in. Is he the fella who's been messaging me about this? Because a couple of weeks... But no, I'm going to pull up the
So Dan, I'm going to say it wasn't me, and I saw the mistake and I left it.
Sorry, yeah. It's been...
so you saw the DM I'm pulling.
Mate, I've watched the video so many times too. This is shocking.
I'm a bit nervous because I sent some of the DMs.
Yeah.
When I got an invite a week or two back, it was like, oh yeah, we'll ask you some questions.
Oh my God.
And I want to show you this because this is why I took that question, because it says paper folding. And I was
no, that wasn't me.
No, that was me.
I was like, I'm going to get this question before this idiot says paper.
Dude,
not realising.
Did you feel what happened to the air in the room when he said A4? Yeah. You guys are like, come on, bro.
The worst thing is I've seen this video. Like, I was like, obviously it's pinned on the on the socials, and I was.
Have you seen it, bro?
I don't know if he has.
This is the.
I mean, talk about no research,
mate. That's a shocker.
I do think it was like credit where due. Good call on my part to be like, do you own a bed, bro?
Yeah.
Well, the penny drop moment.
And also, what A4 paper is fitted?
I mean, this guy.
The whole thing is fitted.
It goes back to the conversation. He went to a print shop today, and they told him that they can't do A5, and I'm like,
I will back this.
I said, do you realise that A5 is half
split it into
a print shop just having naps in the corner?
Oh, mate, that's a cock up right there. Oh well.
That's,
okay, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Start again. I've got time if you want.
Now I like watching him die slow death.
Show I've done 100 times this year.
That's one of those ones there.
Even when I'm sitting here, like, it's the through line about making a bed by myself. He's like, origami, yeah. It's not one of those Japanese paper beds.
He's about it for like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've just had it on my mind. I'm just
That's
like,
I think, as you said, the air came out of the room. He's like, you can't be serious. You can't be.
I've just had it in my mind. It's like,
I'm so happy it's not me this week.
Oh no.
Okay. Now, to be fair, in your defence, bro, you've been at work today. I've just been making my bed.
Well, I am actually the only person who actually does a proper job here.
I mean,
right.
Nice.
It's real cool to stand in front of the guests. Yeah, nice.
I was talking about him.
You did say earlier that you did nothing today.
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
I went to a print shop.
The excuses are wearing pretty thin.
No, they are. I'll wear that one. That was, oh my God. And I sat there, like, I was just like, why is everyone staring at me? I've definitely made a cock up here. But like, how bad is it?
I was waiting for someone else to back me up what I was thinking. I was like, do you really say that?
No, I don't know why. I've just sort of,
In your defence, I do have a fitted sheet in my bag. It is pre-folded in its packaging, and it is A3. I know you feel silly.
Do you know where the mistake comes? Is that an A3 would probably cover me when I'm sleeping. So it's like,
oh, it's A4, right? That's an A4 sheet.
It's Sheet Society. So is that one of the perks from the sponsorship?
They've hooked me up with the bedding, and it's pretty feral on my part. But I haven't really done the laundry since I've been at this new flat, because every couple of weeks I'll just put a new sheet on. So I don't even have to wash it. I'll just put somewhere put one in bloody bloody pile to do later, and I just put a fresh one on. Yeah.
I think that's an underestimated sponsor. Like, I mean, I see
I mean,
the ones.
Good
like,
betting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or legally, I have to say that it is really.
There is nothing better than getting into a bed with fresh sheets. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I will plug them, and I'll plug them because they've got the band. I'm not being paid to say this, but the band on the fitted sheet, it's like the waistband on your undies. Those on them.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, so they're real
Like
boots.
premium.
They're real nice.
Yeah.
And they're having a sale as well once a year. So.
Does that? Is there a discount code?
What are they? They told me they're an aspirational brand, so they're like quite bougie, and they're not like a brand that has like sales all the time. And I know this sounds like a bit, but genuinely, this is what they told me. And they don't like do sales, but this time of year they have one for like Black Friday. So get amongst society. I know you're going to get paper delivered to your house, but oh boy, I can't fit this envelope in the mail. Well, Dan was right.
Dan, I have a problem. How did you do this?
Just sitting there with a crane off.
Oh, mate.
Speaking of A4 paper or any size paper, do you know how many times you can fold it in half?
It's 9, isn't it?
8.
8. Yeah,
Tell the kids at school that, and they go absolutely ballistic. They don't believe it.
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
And someone told me it had to be normal paper, but even like thin, I don't know what the stuff that comes with presents, like the thinner paper.
like 80
I thought it was 7. I thought 7 was the max you could do, or is it 8?
I think it's 8.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of people being wrong on this podcast thus far. So
No. That's one of them, and then the other one is like that you can't. It's physically impossible to lick your elbows.
Give it a go, Barry.
I was trying to bait it into that.
We always used to do the science experiment in class, where it's like you get like an A4 piece of paper. I had to bring it back to this conversation, but like you say to the kids, you've got a pair of scissors, and you need to be able to fit this sheet, like your body through this sheet of paper. Yeah. So it's a science experiment to sort of expand upon surface area and all that. Yeah. And then
body shaming the kids.
Yeah. There's a lot of body dysmorphia in my classroom, but like it's all about just like essentially cutting it in zigzags the whole way through. But these kids, you would think that they would think this, but people just try and just cut a square in it and think that they can fit an entire body through it. Right. And I'm like, come on, Timmy. Like, come on, mate. I was like, God.
I mean, especially if it's fitted paper.
I'm not going to live this one down.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so. Yeah. One question I've got though is like, with that video, there would have been aspiring comedians, and even when you see it on socials a lot, who are looking at it and going, okay, like it was just an experiment for you at the end of the day initially, and to boost it and see if this works, it works. Yeah. But then there would have been people looking at that and going, okay, I might try ideas like this. With comedians like going through, how many comedians do you draw inspiration from, or do you try and separate yourself and be your own sort of like you take ideas and stuff? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So with regards to the joke writing and the marketing's probably different. Like joke writing and stuff, I'll take inspiration from other comics, right, and pick up on like little bits and pieces of how they do it and kind of make my own recipe. But for marketing, it's more like I think like it sounds kind of dumb maybe, but I mean comedy and your comedy brand it's a product, and how you market a product, I imagine, whether it's bed sheets or paper or whatever you want to call it, there's it is just marketing a product. Like 42 Below Vodka. Have you heard the story about how they did their marketing?
No, but I've heard of the brand, but not
so they in short, they would like leave vodka bottles out after parties in Dunedin and fill wheelie bins with them, so that people after big nights out would be like, oh, this is obviously
everyone's drinking
a night out, everyone's drinking it. They would hire like influencers to ask for the drink on nights out. They get like hot chicks to be like, what do you mean you don't have any 42 Below, right? So like stories like that I'm inspired by, which have nothing to do with comedy. The Fringe last year, I tried that. I had some of my flyers, they weren't handing out flyers. I'd get them to go up to people and be like, where can I see Dan Boerman? Start a conversation with people about where to find me. He's up a hill. But I guess I'd take inspiration from other comics and bits and pieces. But my main inspiration, the Notes app on my phone for the last 5 years that I've been adding stuff to, I'm most on fire when I'm trying to impress a woman. If I'm
back to the fire,
dude, if I'm like on a date and I'll say something and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I know we've just met, I've got to write that down.
That's great material.
Yeah. So, or just in social situations, like firing off one another. Like I'm funniest when I'm not trying. Like if I sit in a cafe and try and write jokes, I'm not going to write anything good because I'm in a cafe. A cafe's not a funny place. Yeah. If I'm on stage, I'm going to come up with stuff. We're all right now going to be funnier than we are during the rest of the day because you're in the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
Banter. So
Okay, and then like obviously there's material that you would do back in New Zealand would never work here, and vice versa. I'm assuming so. Like just looking at the different cultures, because people would understand more.
Yeah, they would be a lot more similar than you'd think.
Oh.
I think USA comedy would be its own ecosystem, and then you could almost call it like Commonwealth comedy. So UK, Australia, New Zealand, I'd argue.
But would that also be with what we spoke about before about the relevance to the issues to that country when we spoke about what's going on in the country and how you can reference to that?
Definitely. So if I go home and make a joke about the Reform Party, no one's going to laugh.
Yeah.
So like niche stuff like that, you're absolutely right. That's going to be very different, right? If I'm talking about like multiculture or any political issues back in New Zealand here, that's not going to go down well. People aren't going to understand the reference. But in terms of the nuance of the comedy style, I think you can come over here and get the reps in and become a better comic in the UK. I mean, Brendan Lovegrove, Ben Hurley came over here 20 years ago, and they made the same note that a lot of comics do, is they get their Kiwi comedy, they come to the UK, and they come back to New Zealand, and all the jokes they've written are half the length. So they get this, and they just cut out all the filler, and they just keep it sharp, right? So that's what I've been learning here as well, is that you can just take out a lot of the filler, and you can just make the jokes real lean. And that's my set now as well, since I've been in the UK. Like go up and just back in New Zealand, it'd be half a minute of just waffle. Of just nothing, but now it's like a bit leaner. So I'd say But also like you go up to like Newcastle, you play the Stand there, and the entire crowd's just Geordies. They haven't hit a Kiwi there in probably 15 years, you know, and that's novel, so that goes well. So I'd say there's probably more overlap than you might think.
Is there a massive difference between the different cities in the UK and sort of styles of humour?
I think so. I think there is. I think places like Liverpool, there's nuance to it. Like Liverpool, I'd say like a lot of places, their comedy culture is the same as just their culture, right? Like people in Liverpool probably make pals by just rinsing one another out, by just being mean to your friend for an hour. That's how you build rapport and show strength in the bond of your connection. And it's the same with comedy, right? Like Paul Smith, he just sold out the O2 Arena last night, Scouse comic, and his whole thing online is doing crowd work and just rinsing out the front row, right? He was one of the OGs doing that on social. So that would be like Liverpool might be different to say London to Edinburgh, but again, it would all be a lot closer knit in the UK than somewhere like America. American comedy is quite kind of on the nose and obvious. Maybe you have to like water it down for a lot of the Yanks not speaking out of turn to say you have to make some things obvious for them to go, I see what he's, deadpan might fly over their head. They're different styles, different expectations.
I guess that's why they try to, convert a lot of like English shows into American versions. Like The In-Betweeners was one of them, and
The Office.
They just The Office.
Or Kath and Kim as well. There was an American Kath and Kim.
was it?
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, don't watch it. But it's the same thing. That's the nuance of that isn't going to translate
exactly.
super well. No, it's completely
I didn't know they
different.
did the In-Betweeners one either. Like that's it.
Yeah, it bombed pretty quickly. It didn't. It just wasn't funny at all.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like anyone that was thinking about trying to do the Fringe? Because obviously it's so well known worldwide, and as you were saying, there's quite a lot of Aussie and Kiwi comedians over here, and we spoke about just getting gigs here in London. What would your advice be to anyone looking at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
Yeah, I think something I wish I'd kind of sussed out earlier is like I'll go and try and like go all in on something and then get real sad if it doesn't work out. Like the Melbourne Comedy Fest this year, I went over there, I did 10 shows because I was like, this will be the same as Edinburgh Fringe, and 10 nights I had 45 people through. So I had 4 or 5 people in per show. I did one show with 0 people there. I still did the show anyway. It's actually, I managed to run over by half an hour, even though there was no one there. I was enjoying myself. I thought I was being funny. But what I'm kind of learning now is it's like, the first year, and it's like your mum with the Fringe, right? It's just kind of like sussing it out, just taking a year to suss it out and stuff. And if people want to do the Fringe, it's like, you could do a full run to start with, or you could just do your own show for a week. You could just, the first time you do it, maybe just go over and suss it out. Meet people, watch shows, jump on lineups, and get familiar with it. And get familiar of who the promoters are, who's doing what all the different clubs are, what the ecosystems are. And then the next year you can go in and you can do it yourself.
Recon.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine it would be overwhelming to like try and, you could. I did it the first time I'd really been in Edinburgh, was doing my first solo run, but sussing it out, because it is a long game, right? Like I was told years ago by a Kiwi comic, He's like, it's 7 to 10 years to crack it, to find your comedic voice in that. So it's like, what's 12 months between festivals, to go suss it out and to go back and go.
How come you talked about, obviously, when you're in New Zealand, you did the same sort of the fitted sheet, and then you did Edinburgh and the marketing campaign. How come you haven't sort of just put that on steroids and gone to every country, every city around and done the same thing?
Yeah, well, Jeremy Wells, from back in New Zealand, like Radio Hauraki, and he's the host of Taskmaster New Zealand. I had a chat with him about the fitted sheet thing, and he was saying the same thing. He was like, you could tour this could be a thing where you go and do that. I wouldn't, like the Hawk Tour girl started her own podcast. I wouldn't want to, and then like her own crypto coin or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go that way where I'm like doing something and it pops off. It was risky for me to do it a second time, And then after that, I was like, yeah, but I could. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to do it, and then like 7 people show up and it's like cringe. Like when I was chatting to Sheet Society about the collab, the original idea was that like, we'll get you to do this again in London. We'll get you to do this again and draw a crowd, and it was like. I could do, but it's you can't force a meme. You can't make something happen. It kind of needs to be organic, and they understood and agreed that it's like, to do something. It's I don't know. I just wouldn't want to run the risk of.
Do you think there's like a mindset as well to like not oversaturate an idea in a way, and like just really?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that was the other thing. I mean, the solo show was good, but it was like. Next year I'll be doing another show. I've got another idea for the concept for next year's show and the promo around that and how I'll run that. And it's like, it was a good experiment in virality. What I imagine, what's his name? Uber Butler, the dude who he was on Vice a few years ago. I think that's his name. He had like a restaurant. He got the #1 rated restaurant on TripAdvisor. And it turned out to be like he was just cooking microwave meals out of his kitchen.
Or his backyard,
Yeah, his backyard. So he ended up like, he was this dude, his whole thing is like viral stunts and social experiments and stuff. And so maybe instead of doing the fitted sheet thing everywhere, it'd be like every year I could do a different iteration of that, a different pop-up event where you're in Wellington, you see a QR code on a lamppost. It's like, Dan's doing a thing again, Yeah.
You mentioned Hawk Tour Girl in a podcast.
Yeah.
You do, in fact, have a podcast.
Yes.
Big Pond. That's obviously what Telstra call their internet service in Australia, so expect a cease and desist.
I'm expecting another one because there's already Big Pond podcasts in the USA. There's a podcast incubator in the US called that,
So you've only kind of been in London for 2.5 months. You've already kind of kicked this podcast off. What was the inspiration for that? And how's it going? How have your first couple of guests been?
Yeah, well, I mean, up until sort of about 5 minutes ago when I learnt about the cease and desist, it was kind of going all. It's been pretty good. I can't even remember what the motivation was to do that. I just think it's probably the idea, the original idea that I was going to execute and act on is one that I went down a different path, and you yourselves have done a proper job of the thing for me, which was. London can be lonely. How do we connect people from these areas, right? And I've gone down a different path. I'm just like, there's people trying to crack it. This is entrepreneurs. This is creatives. This is people who have cracked it and people like chasing like a big exciting dream. And so it's cool to see like great minds, and then someone's actually gone and done the thing properly, right? Yeah. Someone's actually doing. I mean, I think you started before I had the idea, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I've done like the one episode has gone out. There's like 5 or 6 that I've recorded. Okay. Credit to you folks, there's a lot that goes into a podcast. There's so much that goes into it, I mean, research isn't
I was about to say die on it.
Yeah, research isn't top of the list for priority. make sure you have like a good background that you do up there. Who is it? Is it you that has the graphic design background?
No, that's AI.
Right, that's AI. But one of you worked as a designer.
No, it's about George.
George.
But that only just dropped.
Yeah, that's the latest episode. But George is head of creative at Bourbon Pubs and Bars. I kind of work in a similar industry, so marketing and print and creative and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'll be getting my wires crossed there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the first time, I mean, your research up until this point has been
absolutely.
Did you say AI for that logo? Is that why the kangaroo has that leg coming out its ass?
Yeah.
That'll do it.
That's why New Zealand's replaced Canberra.
How good, man.
So, yeah,
that's the mascot for the Special Olympics. Maybe don't clip that one up.
Yeah.
If
It was one of those
kangaroos listening.
We did it as a placeholder, and then we kind of grew a little bit fond.
As soon as I saw it, I loved the neon
sign.
Yeah, it's a vibe. I'm on board with that.
That was why I went for that, because I thought, okay, well, we could actually get a neon sign made up. But, you know, it's simple. So
that would be the dream, I think, eventually. Get it made up.
They're real cheap, the neon signs. You jump on like AliExpress and they have a WhatsApp number, and you just like chat to someone in the factory and they hook you up.
Have you seen that? There's these ads that always pop up in Instagram, and it's the guy in one of the factories in China that do these neon signs.
The super racist guy? Yeah.
Oh man, some of the stuff he said, like, it's hilarious. I've got to see if he's actually on our supplier panel at work. He's unbelievable. But mate, I guess the question with the podcast is, like, you're obviously the new boy in town.
Yeah.
How have you gone about getting some of these other comedians on the show so quickly?
How have I gone about? First fella. Well, this is the thing, right? Like the first fella, Ishan, that I had on, Ishan Akbar, he's been on like QI and the Apollo and stuff. Part of it's that I'm a comedian myself. I imagine there's some trust there, like a random reaching out versus another comedian. Mm-hmm. He liked the video of me up a hill folding a sheet.
Oh, okay.
He saw that on Insta, and when you got the blue tick, you can like sort by like other people with blue ticks. It's real like Black Mirror, right? How it's kind of like there's this thing where you can see who else with a tick has interacted with your stuff, and I saw his thing, and I was like, hit him up or whatever. And then but I guess the other thing is, like, for any person that I have on like that, or any person who will take me out for a coffee who might be like a TV comic or whatever, there's 10 or 20 unread DMs that I have to other comics, right? Okay. So there is like that numbers buzz as well of hitting people up. I mean, we kind of touched on it prior to coming on air, but like, obviously, in the clips you posted on IG, Ishan's trying to bait you into some conversation. Yeah. I felt as though you'd known him for quite a while. Is that not the case? Like, it was more just, just two comics kind of like, bouncing off each other. So I watched that back, how I was having a chat with him, and people watched that episode and they're like, oh, it seems like you guys are pals.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
I think that's down to him being a super good conversationalist. Right. There was like nuance of when we were chatting, like there'd be times where like I would say something and he would like reaction cam. He would like turn and like look in the camera. Even though it was just my iPhone, he has obviously done that so many times. So I imagine he had a way of making me and him look like we were pals.
Yeah, because I mean, I know exactly what you mean, because he kind of turns to the camera and it looks like he's looking for a reaction from someone who's filming. Like we might look to Mooch for a reaction or something like that, but there's no one there. It was
just him and I and an iPhone, yeah. I mean, there was a guy on the tech desk, but But he's just a super friendly dude, know, and I imagine like in your industry and any industry, it's like the people who crack it like him are people who are easy to be around. The best advice I had with comedy a few years back was like, joke writing's important, that hustle's important, but are you someone who is enjoyable to be on a road trip with for 5 hours? Because if you're driving up and down the country doing gigs, it doesn't matter if you're the funniest person in London, what do you like to be around, that interpersonal buzz, and he's a good example of that. He's a real friendly dude.
You talked about earlier, I mean, we talked about the people sort of sitting there trying to climb the ladder and stuff.
Yeah.
But that would be, I think that would correlate more with certain industries and all that. But do you find that the comedy industry is quite supportive? Like everyone's really supportive, trying to help everyone out in that regard?
I think it depends really. I think it's probably the same mix as anywhere else, where there's people who are like, I think what I've found with comedy, but it's the same that I've found with when I was a muso, when I was working in like tech company years ago. It's the same as in any industry. People who are like super fresh, are like real excited and keen. And people who have already cracked it, who have played the Apollo and are doing it full time, they're happy to help you because they've got nothing to lose. They've cracked it. Sometimes it can get funny in between. Yeah. When people are on the way up, that like middle management stage of art, where people are like, oh, I could maybe help you, Dan, but that could be a seat for me that Dan's now taking. I think in London, though, everyone in London's been super supportive. Like, everyone in London's been real nice. But I do think, not just for comedy, like, I'll preface it by saying any industry, there can be weirdness in the middle where people are like wary of helping you when you're at the same stage as one.
Trying to climb that ladder.
Yeah, people
try and push each other off the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's the same in any industry. People kind of will try and protect what they've got.
100%.
I mean, it'd be like with teaching and stuff, where you've got the people who I don't know, they're like SLT and stuff. But when you get to the head teachers like, yeah, mate, like no worries at all. But it's like that middle ground, I think, where you start to get that because everyone's just trying to get that one seat at the top, really.
Yeah, and as I say, it wouldn't just be an exclusively comedy thing. I think it'd be a lot of creative disciplines. And as well, comedians are funny people, right? Most people are doing comedy because they're mentally ill or traumatized or a combination of both, right? Like they are funny characters. You don't just have...
You should really go into it, Jim.
you don't just... Yeah. No, just give the trauma to the kids instead. Pass it on to them.
I mean, when he's trying to get them to go through the A4 piece of paper,
Yeah.
shaming them anyway.
Just know that's a ritual we had to do at 6 years old.
There's maybe a cigarette in the corner going, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Stop slacking, Chubber, I'm watching you.
I thought he had a cigarette papers. It's just trying to roll it with linen.
I think, like, we were just talking about climbing the ladder, and I think, you've got a new show out. Well, there's a new show out at the moment, the Jimmy Carr show.
It's another acronym. It's AITA.
Yeah, AITA.
Yeah. Am I the a-hole?
Yeah.
Do you want to BING what that means?
On Comedy Central, and I was watching it with my partner last night.
Yeah.
I think there's three episodes out at the moment. You're on the first or second?
First one, yeah.
First
episode, yeah, dude.
So, I mean, how'd that come about? That's exciting news for you.
That was real exciting, dude. The most exciting part was writing a Facebook status to share it with people back home. I wrote the Facebook status to share with the people back home that I'd got on the show before I'd auditioned for the show. I'm a real white girl about like manifesting stuff.
Yeah.
I genuinely am. So I was like, real hyped for that. But I guess the thing for that is like I got on that show, but I'll show you 41 emails to agents, for example. I've cold called 5 of them with donuts at their office. I've found where they work and got into the co-working space. I've got in touch with agents. I still haven't got signed. And there's like 49 other shows I've applied to be on. I've got none of them. So like that's super cool. But statistically it never really happened. So like it was just luck.
But that's also a really good thing for you that you're not just giving up. And it's we've spoken a lot that London can be tough, right?
Yeah.
And you can get so many knockbacks here.
Yeah, dude. Well,
and
your diet of just steak and palm beers.
Oh my God!
You got to get the 5+ a day.
That's
it.
It's his job to know.
That's it.
We have to know. We're in the hat. But no, genuinely, 100%. You can burn out, sink or swim. And that's kind of why I call the podcast Big Pond as well, right? Because there's a lot of people trying to crack it. It can be real disheartening. And I think with comedy, I'm fresh relative to London. I've only been doing it in London 2 months. I think being funny is as important as not quitting. It's genuinely, I just think because it can. I mean, there's clubs that I've trialled at out of London, up north and stuff that I haven't heard from for 7 months. There's a lot more reasons for me to just quit and move back in with mum than there is to continue. If you lay it out, I can make a far better case for quitting than continue.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's especially pertinent to being a comic. Like, it's not something that you're born with. Like, obviously you're born with some of the humour, but that performance is a learnt skill. Being up on stage and I think like you got to have that mindset that you can.
Do you think people are born funny? Would you? I mean, I think that.
I don't know.
No, I know what you mean, and I probably believe that. But maybe maybe comedians do some of them.
I think it'd be like
think they're born funny.
Or just part of the environment that you sort of grow up.
Yeah, I think that would have a huge
sort of
impact.
what you're exposed to as well.
Because I mean, it's one of the arts, and like you kind of said earlier, you take things from other performers, just like an artist who paints or draws does. They're taking inspiration from different things and creating their own recipe, as you said. So
yeah,
I mean, obviously you've got to have a certain kind of like way of thinking, but I still think like you've got to die or to use it again.
Yeah. There's many ways to end up there, right? A funny kid is one way to end up being a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Someone who's deeply traumatized might use humor as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
People who were working who were like a theatre kid who then diversified into comedy. People who are just like me. I was just into like public speaking in high school. What I mean? It wasn't necessarily funny.
But you've got that ability to be kind of sharp with your responses and things like that.
Like a lot of comics I've chatted to, I think if there is something you're born with, it's the speed of thought.
Yeah.
And it's that I have a mind that's just constantly on.
Yeah.
And it's always noisy, and it's just a very fast place. And it's not that I'm trying to come up with thoughts; it's that I just have to grab onto the right one.
Yeah.
So
See, I'd think of a response, but like maybe 3 hours from now, said that.
Yeah. I normally get a message from Jared like the next day going, by the way.
He still doesn't understand the whole concept of. He doesn't know why we're laughing at him about the A4 piece of paper.
I've got my wife on my search and I'm going, hang on, what's going on here?
Just to quickly go back to the Jimmy Carr thing. So what was the process? Did you audition? Like, obviously you had to tell a story, and then he kind of says, like, you know, whether you're the a-hole or not. But did you already have the story when you did your audition, or was it a different story when you went on the actual show?
Yeah, so I think like getting on that show was a real good example of just like putting out a lot of buckets for when it rains. It's that kind of like butterfly effect, closing doors, bloody, I don't know if closing doors is a saying, but you're picking up what I'm putting down, like doing a lot of stuff and something will overlap. Like it's a small world, there's a lot of coincidence, like the gentleman here tonight's at like a club I was at a few weeks back. That's bananas to me. There's a lot of that overlap in London and in the UK when you put yourself out there and do stuff. And so like I had come back to the UK from New Zealand, and it was just like an ad that I got on my Instagram when I was travelling through Newcastle, right? So like that to me is still kind of a bananas coincidence that came across my timeline. Yeah. But the algorithm just served me an ad. And the auditions closed on a Friday, and I saw the ad on a Sunday. So I just arrived back, and I was in Newcastle because I was getting a tattoo there. And so I hit them up, and I applied for the show, didn't have an agent, still don't. And first thing I was like, look, real sorry, I know the thing's closed, but I'm real keen. And I filmed a self-tape in the hotel room. And like I just landed in the UK, so I was shattered. I was so jet lagged, and it was 1 a.m, so I was like deathly tired. And I filmed it like 20 times again and again and again, and I was just like, I've just got to do this thing. Tried uploading it to the Google form, the file was too big, and I was like, it's just be better to just not do it and forget about it. And I was like, what if? Submitted, and then got like phone interview, video interview within a couple of days, and they had me down in London for the show. And the story I had was about when I was barbering, and it was about how if someone came into the shop and they're like real like toxic weirdo, didn't happen much, but someone would be like, oh, I work out of the hostel next door as like a pickup coach. It'd be like always an American guy who would be like, oh, people pay me $100 and I teach them like dating advice. Right, and the more you get chatting, the more you're like, this is a guy who's teaching guys how to be like real nasty to women, how to like them down, how to neg them, like Andrew Tate characters. Yeah. So what I would do is like you've got the normal scissors and then you've got the thinning scissors. Yeah. And I just like blend the back of the hair, and I'd show them the hair in the mirror. I'd be like, before we continue, bro, like you do know you're going bald, right? I only did it a couple of times, and it would grow back within a couple of weeks, right? But it was if someone like that dude was being a proper like bad egg, I'd be like, let's just give you a bald spot and get on, you know.
I mean, like that kind of hits home for me because I have thinned out in the front over the last couple of years, and whenever the barber...
You need to be nicer to women, bro. Well, telling your barber so much.
Well, no, but like whenever the barber pulls out those things, I'm like, what the hell are you doing, mate? Like, I don't need any help with this. Yeah. Come on, just let it go organically.
Yeah, well, because we're talking about the show, the Jimmy Carr one, and there's been a couple of shows that I've heard about. So the Gong Show, I've heard about that only recently as well, which you mentioned earlier. But there's also like the Blackout shows. Well, I heard about it. I'm going to explain this terribly, but I think it's called a blackout show, or something similar, where someone will go up for a small amount of time, and then the lights go down, and then it comes on, and the audience got like a white card.
Yeah, which is the same as a Gong Show.
Oh, is that the exact same? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Not to explain it back to you, but what you're talking about, live comedy clubs here in London. Is a show, and the concept is that you either straight away or usually 2 minutes into the show, the audience members can gong you off, can vote you off.
Right.
So at like Big Belly, at Up the Creek, you get 2 minutes on stage, and then after 2 minutes they go, right, there'll be a sound that'll go off, and the audience can vote you off if they don't like you. So you got 2 minutes to warm them up. Yeah. But at the Comedy Store here in London, it's 0 seconds. There's no contingency. As soon as you walk up, they can gong you off. So I'd come down, cutthroat, dude. I'd come down from Edinburgh back in January to do the London Gong, King Gong, Monday night, 400 people. I walk out, I get a red card before I even spoke. So someone was just like, I don't like his face, and they just put up the red card, and I go to deliver the first joke, and I stumble a bit, and they're like, out you go. 37 seconds I lasted. And then it's a 7-hour train back to
Wow.
So it's pretty brutal.
Because that reminds me of the old Hey Hey It's Saturday in Australia when they had red faces and they hit the big gong when they had the axe. So yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic.
But like you've talked about before, you know, you're quite quick with the brains, is always thinking and stuff like that. And obviously, there's other comedians who aren't built like that. So, would you say there's some comedians who steer clear from that sort of avenue, or do you see it as a challenge yourself, and you're like, I want to try this?
I think what the gong shows are good at for me is getting good at like riding the bomb and getting good at turning it around when it goes around. And that's why Edinburgh Fringe was good for me, because I did like the nearly 50 solo shows there, and one show I did every day was a work in progress. And it was like packed out every day, 60 people. It was like a hot room, physically hot. It was 2 p.m. People were like sweating. A lot of people didn't want to be there. And I had to try and hone that skill of turning a room around. And the gong shows is that environment to get good at that very quickly, to be like, whoa, I know you don't like me, but just hang on a sec. What I have started doing, which is kind of toxic behaviour, is just leaning in and telling off the audience. So when they start red carding me, be like, look, like this is my dream you're looking at right now. This is all. I sold everything back in New Zealand. You're gonna see a man cry in front of, you know, and like that's 50-50. Sometimes people are like, oh, he's just being silly. And other times people are like, I don't want to see a man cry. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Like I think it's a foot in the door for comedy clubs in London. For a lot of people, that's the first step, you know, to get in the reps and show that you can win over a crowd. I think, to answer your question about the kind of people that would steer clear of it, I think the challenge there is that, like, you want to be able to build rapport, and for me it takes 5 or 10 minutes, because people see a guy with long hair and an earring and they're like, I don't like him already. And that always happens. Any show of mine, 5-10 minutes, and people are like, I don't like this guy. So I have to work real quickly to be like, I know I look like some, like, Matt Rife F-boy character. Yeah. And I am, but it doesn't matter. You know? You have to, like, win them over. So, yeah, it's like to work quickly. Yeah, get the skill of working quickly to get them on your side, I guess, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Do you find that, like, back home, obviously we talked about the differences in comedy and stuff, do you find the crowds, I guess, back home are significantly different in terms of, or do you think these, I don't know anything about the New Zealand comedy scene really in terms of, like, the shows they have, but, like...
Same, bro.
Yeah.
But, like, I moved here.
These gong shows and everything like that, and that sort of style, do you reckon that would go well back home?
I think, like, I would imagine it exists here as a matter of scale. It's such a big place. There's a lot of people trying to crack it. You can do gong shows. You know, you have 100 people trying to get on your club, so that's like a way of getting them on. Yeah. In New Zealand, that culture doesn't exist, and in London, they've got shows here called bringer shows, bringers and stayers. So, like, I book you for a gig, you can come perform for 5 minutes, but you have to bring someone with you. Yeah. So you have to help me fill out that crowd. You have to bring audience with you. Yeah. And there's also stayers. I'm doing one Monday next week where I can come and do the show, but as part of it, I have to stay and I have to be part of the audience, right? So that wouldn't go down in New Zealand. That wouldn't really exist. It's too small for that to exist. It exists in places like in LA. There's open mics you jump on, and you have to pay to do the show. You have to pay $5 to be on the show, right? That kind of stuff wouldn't exist in New Zealand. But in terms of the differences, I think. I've only done it 4 years. I haven't done it long enough to get a proper gauge, but I agree with the idea that Kiwi crowds are the hardest in the world. I've heard that, and I would agree with it. Okay. I don't even know if Kiwi crowds are the hardest in the world, but I just think everywhere else they're just off the bat, they're ready and they're warmed up and they understand it and they have context. Yeah. Okay. So here in the UK, you go up to Newcastle, you jump on the stand on an open mic there, 5 minutes on Red Raw. They're ready straight away. Yeah. MC goes up, tells a joke. They're keen. They understand the assignment, especially in Liverpool. They want you to do well. They won't kind of let you bomb.
I think, like, I always say this, like, when you go to comedy, you want it to be funny. You don't go there like wanting it to not be funny. But
exactly.
The last comedy show I went to was at Tattershall Castle, which is the boat out the front of Temple, I think, like that. Yeah. Embankment. And there were some. For want of a better word, boomers in front of us, and I don't think they laughed the whole show. It's like,
there's a mirror on the boat.
Yeah, I was sitting there. It was actually just Jared sitting there brushing his teeth.
But I remember the first act. She was a bit like, I guess, obscure in her comedy, but like.
When was this show? Sorry, because I went to a boat show a few weeks back.
This was probably around the end of July, I think it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's always a really good show there. Like in general, that it gets funnier and funnier as you go through the acts. But the first act probably didn't hit as well as like the others. But I thought she was like super funny. Like it was obscure comedy, but like I still thought she was really good, and I didn't think she kind of got the kind of props that she deserves. So I think. I think there can be difficult people in any crowd. Is I think my point. And as I said, there was this whole row of older people who just did not like. It was like they were just kind of sitting there and just That could have been in a museum rather than a comedy show. So, it can happen anywhere. I think you're always going to have some different people, some funny ducks in the crowd.
Well, it's an interesting one to navigate as well as a comic because you've got two options. You can lean into what your thing is and you can be unapologetic, like you're saying, Anthony Jeselnik, right? That kind of character. He's never going to change his act for an audience. He's just going to do what he does, right? Or you can play to the room that you're in. That comic could have dialed it back. I imagine maybe they were like a bit weird, a bit Gen Z, and maybe the boomers weren't into that. Like they could have, So it's like, what do you do? Do you mix it up or do you just double down and commit to it, right? And that's a decision you kind of have to make,
Yeah. Mate, I guess we've kind of asked you a lot about comedy and stuff like that. I just want to kind of get, ask you how's things going in London from just from a life and a personal perspective. How have you found it? How are you settling in?
Yeah, it's been good. I think everyone I chat to agrees with the sentiment you folks have chatted about in the past, which is like you have to have a social thing, you have to have a thing to do, right? Especially like winter's super tough, winter's miserable. Part of the reason I'm going home in December is to going there for a few weeks to get some vitamin D and see some recharge, right, for the new year. But I'm lucky with comedy because it is very social.
Yeah.
Between going on the odd hinge date and being in clubs a lot of nights of the week, there's a lot of social life.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you've got the kind of career that is like, your life type thing. Whereas, like, I think being a teacher or even what I do, you kind of work to live. But I think there's some jobs, and I think being in the kind of creative arts, it is your life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely it is. I think I was thinking about it today as well, right? It's like I'm pretty lucky that I don't get like super lonely or bummed. But part of that is that I have the milestone of I'm going to be in New Zealand for a few weeks to look forward to. If I wasn't doing that, I'd imagine I'd want to do some more social stuff. I think I don't make a lot of time for hanging out with guy mates. Like I'll do a bunch of gigs and even just doing admin back and forth with people over emails as some form of interacting with people during the day. But whenever I do go around to a mate's house and play PlayStation or whatever and just have guy time, that's it's always a recharge that I'm like, damn, I really needed this. I didn't realise the importance of that to just chat nonsense with someone for a couple of hours. So there's value in that. But I've been enjoying London. It's expensive. The days are 3 hours long, so that's the challenge. But hey, sometimes you get your phone stolen.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we kind of mentioned it. You kind of when you move to London at this time of year, you're going to get the worst of it. So London's summertime or British summertime is. It's up there with the best because you got daylight from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. So there's a lot more to look forward to in the warmer months, believe me.
And it must be a good summer, right? Because the winters are that miserable. It's like people talk about the London summer. It's like it must be a bloody good summer because the winters are.
Can be the great summer.
It can be.
But it's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not all.
It's like you're guaranteed a bad winter because you might have a good summer.
Well, the thing is, there's in Australia, particularly in Sydney, you can have a very wet summer. It hasn't. In the 11 years I've been here, hasn't been really that. It tends to be really dry in the summer. As long as the rain stays away. I remember when I first moved over here, you'd see all the kind of British and they just find patches of grass to sit on. It didn't have to be a park. It could just be a median strip or a
just put out their A4 picnic blanket.
and I'd say to my missus, what are they doing? And it's they're just enjoying the sun because you have this period of the year where
and shirts off as well, right? That's going to happen.
Mate, they'll be full down to their budgies or bikinis in the park.
I've discussed this many times because in Australia, I don't know what it's like in New Zealand, but I'm not talking to you, but talking to you. There's an unwritten rule. If you get to a certain distance away from the beach, it's shirt back on. But when it gets hot here, you'll be down the local supermarket and there'll be some bloke with 3 lines tattooed on him, just walking around shirtless. I'm like, no, mate, that is not it. Put a shirt on.
Yeah, I remember going down to Tesco's, back home, I feel as if you could just sit there barefoot and just walk down the shops or the streets. And then I remember going to a Tesco's just barefoot, just forgetting where I was, obviously. And someone made a comment, and they were like, "Oh, come on, mate, a bit of hygiene." I'm going, "Oh, geez, you're not in Kansas anymore, Toto, are you?"
That happened to me tonight because the laundromat's across the road from my house, and I'll just barefoot it because I don't know why. Just maybe my bloody socks are in there, but whenever I even over the road in bare feet, you get funny looks. That casual Kiwi Aussie thing that happens. People are like, "Oh, he's escaped from the asylum,"
Dan, I think we're going to have to wrap things up because we're running out of time. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
I appreciate you having me, folks.
Thanks
It's been
so much,
Absolutely
mate.
fantastic.
And I'll give you the opportunity just to give you your socials a plug, all that kind of stuff, because I don't want to.
And do you have any upcoming shows that you wanted to talk about? Or?
I'll be back here in January from Down Under, probably late January, early February. I'll be doing a show here, and I'm keen to pack that out with Kiwis and Aussies. So details TBC, but at Dan Boerman Comedy, we'll have the details on there.
And Poddy.
I won't plug mine on yours, bro. This is
No.
We'll just.
It's funny, man. Like I'm more.
Well, we might get second win lawsuit.
Caught up in all
Big
that.
Pond Official is. That might actually tell us his domain name.
The reason I did Big Pond Official is because the official Big Pond at Big Pond is taken, right? So on Big Pond, Telstra. That's so funny. I wonder if they'll do me a deal. But Big Pond Official's the Instagram for the podcast. But at Dan Boerman Comedy on Instagram. Check that out, and I'm real keen to put on a bloody show in the New Year's and have a bunch of people around for that. Try and do 1 quid tickets or whatever.
That's incredible.
We'll be
that'd be cool.
I'll be there
It'd
for
be great to have you there.
And
Great.
we should also probably say, because we didn't last episode as well, a big shout out to Mooch, our producer, and get down to Big Belly Comedy Club, of which Dan's been there before.
It's a fantastic club.
Fantastic.
Go there, bring friends and money. It's so good.
That's officially opening post. Well, it's open now, but the renovation is complete in a couple of weeks. So I think late November, early December. So
We were thinking maybe in a couple of months we might do a live show from there, get everyone.
Or even some kind of launch party. So we'll get some people down there. So that's going to be super exciting. I think the other thing we're going to mention once again is the Kiwis in London Christmas party. Early December, that is
That is
December 6th.
December 14th.
Okay.
Do you want my set time, or do you want the?
So, I mean, there you go. Jimmy London, the most famous DJ in the UK, will be performing. But
No, well, that will be good as well, because you got there's the Kiwi band On the Par. I think you know those lads as well. I mean, they're performing. You got a few DJs and stuff, but obviously Clint does.
It's always a great time.
It's all.
You go there, and if you can't have a good time there,
we'll be down. We're down doing some content, no doubt, as well. and no controversy.
Early, very early.
Maybe even before everyone arrives.
I mean, there's a couple of things to look forward to as we kind of get into the darker, colder months. But as always, guys, check out our socials, Spotify, YouTube. And as always, we really do appreciate the support. Obviously, if you like Dan, want to come on the show, I think this was born out of a message. I think
we reached out to Dan, but reach out to us, let us know.
Yeah, or there might have been some kind of interaction with his story or something like. Just drop us a message. I mean, as we said before, there's lots of different stories, lots of different angles on people moving to London, and we're interested in all of them. So, as always, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Cheers.
Cheers.